finally some new news on Jump Force. It's been a bit since we've got any updates on the game and, you know, some new characters and things like that. I'm definitely very excited about the latest announcement, and also the latest announcement once again. Well, there's two announcements, but in particular the one I'm referring to, it definitely reinforces what a lot of us have been saying about Jump Force, and that's that it definitely feels as though it's targeted toward a Western demographic, opposed to just being like with what they did with J-Star's Victory Versus, where it was like they had a lot of the old classic Japanese manga that probably today and days, you know what I'm saying, people especially in the West never even heard of these things, and in Japan, unless you're a lot older, you're probably not going to remember a lot of these older manga and whatnot. So this time around, they're really focusing in on what's hot, what's new, but also what was huge in the West, because even though, yeah, these series have had their impact, of course, in Japan, and I mean, some of them, like for example with Death Note is still a popular thing, at the very least, even in the West, for crying out loud. What they just did, the Netflix film, and they announced a sequel for that. Death Note definitely is one that, it's popular in Japan and it had several movies, but the hype has since died down, but in the West it's still flaming popular. So they did Death Note, of course, Dragon Ball, #1 huge thing in North America from anime and manga, Naruto, One Piece. It's huger in Japan, but it's still pretty big in the West as well. So, you know, we have those big lockdowns, but now we got the announcement that the next character in Jump Force, which it wasn't confirmed if this character is going to be a playable, like, you know, you could pick this character, or it's going to be a support character, or it's going to be a character that's not playable in any form or fashion, and it's just going to be in the story mode, because they kind of caught us with the whole Death Note thing, where it turned out that Light wasn't going to be playable. It could be possible that this character is in the same vein as what they decided to do with Death Note, because this character himself is not a fighter. This character isn't going to just start throwing blows or anything like that, although there is a version of the character that is quite deadly, to say the least. And the character I'm referring to is Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! They actually just a few days ago, I want to say, showcased the next release, or the next reveal for an upcoming character for Jump Force, and it turned out to be Yugi, or we could say the Pharaoh Atem, because he looks more in like his Pharaoh look, in a sense of like when Yugi, you know, let's go, so to speak, and lets the Pharaoh take over. Not that he's in the Pharaoh apparel, I'm talking about like he's in the Yugi school clothing, but he looks more like Yami or Atem or whatever the heck you want to call him, because he has that more adult look, and he looks badass. I ain't gonna lie, I'm surprised. Again, I feel as though he should have been in J-Stars. Maybe the budget wasn't there to license that character, although you would think if it's a Shueisha property and just grabbing all of the titles, they really wouldn't have to do much. But there's many possibilities to explore as to why Yugi wasn't in the J-Star Victory Versus. It could just be that they ran out of time. That could also be a reason, but it has been announced that he's going to be in there. And again, I'm just kind of like, okay, what version are we going to use? Are we going to combine versions? Because there was some very slick stuff in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Before it became about the card game itself, and it was more so like doing these crazy deadly games, and people would die fighting Atem, or well, Yugi when he would get serious or whatever. So they could implement some of that into this and make him even deadlier, although if they're really trying to appeal to the Western market, I don't know if they're gonna want to show, you know what I'm saying, a serial killer Yu-Gi-Moto in Jump Force. I mean, I guess it'd be badass as hell and show a dark side, and maybe we could get an explanation as to why he's doing those things. But also, I guess it could just be a, when you attack, Dark Magician shows up and blasts real quick, and that's the way he attacks, or his special, I guess, which it has to be. If they don't have this as his special, again, assuming that he's a playable fighter that you can pick and not just support or just in the game for that matter, if they don't have H0LY as his special, I don't know what we're doing here. And again, I think something as powerful as H0LY, because H0LY in the game, you know, or in the anime, in Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, when you summon H0LY, it's a wrap. You're supposed to win automatically. So it'll possibly be something in the same vein as like Ichigo's Final Getsu Tensho as well, where it'll throw a blast that if it connects with anybody, they automatically die, but then you lose a life as well. They could possibly go that route, or they could go where after he uses H0LY, and H0LY is a very powerful attack, not quite a one-hit KO type of deal, but very strong, then Yugi stays on the ground for a while, possibly weakened, that's another option. But come on, all jokes aside, we need H0LY to be the main thing for Yugi if he's a playable character. And like I said, possibly Dark Magician Girl could be other ones, which it'll be very simple. You know, you press to attack and Dark Magician shows up, bam. Press to kick and Dark Magician Girl throw a kick or something like that. It's pretty manageable for the most part. Either way, if he's going to be playable, something got to give. Either that or he's going to throw cards and they're going to be like blades or something. Now, if he's support, it's cool. I'm not that hype if he's just going to be like a support character of like, you know, he'll come out every now and then and attack with Dark Magician if you summon him as a support. I'm not going to be that excited because support is like, oh, okay, but like if it's a full-on, you can play as him, that is going to be sick. And if he's not playable at all, and he's just going to be like in the story mode, but you can't unlock him or whatever, throw him away. I'm saying if we can't play as him in one form or another, just throw him away. Stop teasing us, because I'm still a little salty. Like, that was one of the big things that got a lot of people going crazy at the end of the first trailer for Jump Force, when we saw Ryuk, and it seemed as though like, oh shit, you know, he's in the game. And then little by little, they kind of just creep in the information that a lot of people still don't even realize that, oh yeah, it's not really playable. That's just, you know, a selling point to the Western market. So hopefully it's not like that, because having Yugi in this, like, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't mad at it at all. And again, it just further proves, like, Yu-Gi-Oh, one of the biggest things. It was big in Japan, don't get me wrong, but it was for a while a phenomenon. Like, it was just out of this world. Yu-Gi-Oh was just humongous. I remember going to a tournament in Madison Square Garden to play Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, that's how lit Yu-Gi-Oh was, and to this day still is, because people still love the card game. The card game is still selling, and it's still a huge deal, and it's crazy. Yugi in Jump Force. Kind of curious how you guys feel about it. If he is indeed playable, what should be his moveset? What should he do? Should they incorporate stuff from the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime? I'm not talking about the card game, the one where he was doing some very devious things. Should they have that? Should he just throw cards? Should it be when he attacks, just Dark Magician shows up real quick, or Dark Magician Girl? And his ultimate, should it be H0LY or something totally different? Maybe he'll just have standard attacks of like throwing cards or going and like, you know, putting up defense shields, something like that. And then maybe his ultimates will be like Dark Magician, Dark Magician Girl. Your thoughts on that? Or if he's not playable, like, oh, if he's not playable, like if he's only support or just not playable in general, how you gonna feel about that? To me, I'm going to take that as a slap in the face, because you're telling me that a character, a very awesome, real cool character. Yugi has one of the coolest character designs in the world. His hair, the color design, everything. I always found Yugi to be a fascinating, really cool look for a character. That was one of the things that was like really intriguing when you see Yu-Gi-Oh for the first time. Like, his hair is crazy, but it looks real freaking cool. He's boss, this big puzzle, these monsters fighting. Like, I want to be able to play as Yugi. I'm just saying, like, don't make it corny neither. Like, I don't want Yugi to just start like pimp slap. Well, Yugi pimp slapping people, that work. And your overall thoughts and expectations for Yugi being added and playing as him at some given point in Jump Force. I'm excited. I think this is another awesome move. If any anime fighter that contains all of these properties and are put into one video game is going to sell well, it has to be this. If this doesn't sell well, we could probably kiss goodbye any chances of anything like this happening ever again, because J-Star's Victory Versus did not perform that well. This one, they added at the E3 thing. It took up so much people's attention. They're promoting it very well. They're adding the characters people want to see. Hey, where's my Hakusho characters? I'm just saying, you know, I'm not trying to, yo, Hakusho, baby. Hopefully this will sell well, and we could possibly get some sort of sequel and get more of these games, because I know it's challenging on their side to put these together. A lot of legal stuff has to go down to get this title and all of that, but either way, it's going to be freaking crazy. I can't wait. A lot of anime games coming out. Also, the other announcement real quick before I go is that I believe it's confirmed for February 2019. This is a game, if it comes out in Japan before the West, which I'd be disappointed. I really would. Like, come on, drop it at the same day or whatever. But if it does, I would import this one, just because I can see myself double dipping. Maybe get it for the, is it coming out on the Switch? I'm not sure if it's for the Switch or not, but if it does come out at some given point on the Switch, I would buy that as well. And I want it on my PS4, because Jump Force, baby, Yugi. But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit the bell to get all notifications of my videos. And if you want to check out any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day.
Make a major move, laugh and let the haters lose. We don't give a fuck, virginity intact, cream stack. Paper rules, if you heard it, best believe that. But now it's whatever, one day I'll be your favorite, but never. No matter how